Hey guys, what's up? I'm Erin and welcome back to the channel. Did you know that 38% of workers have never asked for a raise? That's roughly 2 in 5 people potentially leaving money on the table. Meanwhile, inflation is constantly working away in the background, chipping away at our purchasing power. So that means if you're not actively increasing your pay, you could be falling behind financially. According to a survey of over 3,000 US-based professionals conducted by FlexJobs, this hesitation to advocate for pay raises is part of a larger story about financial insecurity and career satisfaction. In the past year, 43% of workers didn't receive a raise or a bonus, and of those who did, 41% said it was the same or less than they received in previous years. So while some workers are maintaining or increasing their purchasing power with time, that number isn't as large as it should be. Because remember, inflation is constantly there, increasing the costs of goods and services that we're buying every single day. If you're a homeowner, you likely saw your property taxes increase this past year. Groceries, dining out, and other expenses, they're likely more expensive this year than they were last year. Over time, if your pay isn't increasing at a rate that matches or exceeds inflation, you're slowly losing purchasing power, and it becomes harder and harder to budget in saving and investing. In the most ideal world, your pay would be increasing at a rate that outpaces inflation, because this is going to make it easier for you to reach that goal of financial freedom and put more towards investments or savings. I think the biggest stat that we have to touch on is the one that I used to open the video, that 38% of workers have never even asked for a raise. Regularly negotiating salary increases, even modest ones, can substantially boost your lifetime earnings. Consider that Business Insider did an analysis of 2 hypothetical employees. Let's consider Alex and Taylor. Alex starts with a salary of $45,000 and gets an annual 1% pay increase for cost of living. Taylor negotiates a $5,000 higher starting salary, so $50,000, receives an annual 1% cost of living increase, but Taylor also knows the power of asking for a raise, and every 3 years is successful in negotiating a 4% pay increase. By the time they reach retirement, Taylor is earning over $121,000 a year, while Alex is earning just over $70,000 a year. Over their careers, and even more importantly, Taylor's total earnings exceeded Alex's by over $1 million. That does illustrate the power of asking for and successfully obtaining raises over time. And maybe that example seems a bit extreme, but even modest increases over time make a big difference. If you can successfully negotiate a $1 hourly wage increase over the course of 20 years, that could add up to nearly an additional $42,000 in pay with a full-time position. Over the course of 30 years, that could add up to an additional $62,000 in earnings. Stagnant wages are pushing many professionals to pursue side hustles. 78% of survey respondents said they either already have a side hustle or would consider starting one to boost their income. And having a side hustle is a great way to diversify your income streams, and having multiple income streams can be a great way to add some financial stability to your life. But also at the same time, working a side hustle generally requires more time commitment on your part. It generally requires you working more hours. I'm not opposed to working a side hustle. I just think you should absolutely maximize the earnings from your day job first. With so many people saying they already have or are willing to work a side hustle to increase their earnings, it shows that people are motivated to work. It shows that they're motivated to increase their earnings. So why not start with your day job? Hesitating to discuss pay at your primary job is really a missed opportunity. You have to be an advocate for yourself. So don't be afraid to have these difficult conversations, especially before you go pursuing additional work. I'm definitely someone who has had my share of side hustles throughout my working career, and especially in my 20s and my early 30s, I had no hesitation when it came to working side hustles. But now as I hone in on 40 and I have a child, my priorities have shifted a bit. I'd rather spend less hours continually working and maximize my earnings through my primary career. I think for so many of us, there comes a point where we really want to emphasize this balance between work hours and then life enjoyment hours, where we get to spend time doing activities that we love outside of work and spending time with people that we love. The whole goal of working and earning a paycheck outside of life fulfillment is to be able to cover your financial needs. And one of those financial needs is preparing for your future. It's really encouraging to see that 65% of respondents are saving for retirement. But there's still a gap between saving strategies and confidence levels. Consider that 42% of workers feel very insecure about their ability to retire, and 20% feel somewhat insecure. This really shows the disparity between people making an effort to save, but also at the same time feeling like they're not saving enough due to stagnant wages and rising costs. And the solution really is to increase your income, maybe reduce your expenses, maybe both. Because if you can do this, you can create more breathing room within your budget to put money towards investments and have that secure financial future. The only way to feel like you're confidently building a rock-solid financial future is to actively be contributing to your investments. Otherwise, it can just feel like you're falling further and further behind no matter how hard you're working. Consider that 41% of workers are dissatisfied with their current salary and compensation packages. And you might be a little surprised to see what survey respondents found to be the most sought after benefits. Most workers wanted flexible options to improve work-life balance more than a pay increase. 75% wanted remote work options. 63% wanted flexible work hours, and 60% wanted 4-day work weeks. And one other benefit worth mentioning, 401k matching, but significantly less workers were seeking this option. And yes, I think work-life balance is a huge perk, and having a lot of flexibility with your work, that can go a long way towards making your work more enjoyable and making your career more enjoyable over a course of a lifetime. But I do want to take a moment and make an argument for a 401k match, because that can make a big difference in your life. Consider that the most popular 401k match out there is a dollar-for-dollar match of 3% of your income. If you have a job where you earn $70,000 a year and you save 3% of your pay, enough to get your employer match, and then your employer matches 3% of this, over the course of a 35-year working career, you could build a portfolio of nearly $800,000. Without this employer match, your same 3% going into investments over a 35-year working career leaves you with a portfolio of roughly $400,000. Having double the portfolio as you go into retirement, double the portfolio without you having to contribute additional funds, that's a big deal. And that goes a long way towards creating financial security. I think a lot of times employer matches and these other perks are overlooked in how impactful they can be on one's life. I don't think it's a stretch to say for the everyday American, an employer match can be life-changing when it comes to retiring in a stable way and having the funds to retire in a comfortable way, financially speaking. This is one of those big picture financial items, and focusing on the big picture items has way more impact than focusing on the small ones. Asking for a raise can be daunting, but it's important to advocate for your worth in the workplace. There's no one-size-fits-all approach when it comes to having these difficult conversations, but they're an important part of a career success strategy. You can prepare by researching the market, knowing income ranges for your positions, and going in with a list of your recent work accomplishments. Now, just because you asked for a raise doesn't mean you're guaranteed to get it. And from this stance, I think it's important to negotiate additional benefits. Maybe that comes in additional time off, or maybe it's negotiating more flexibility with your work schedule. But I think it's always important to remember that you're not tied to one employer. Sometimes the biggest pay increases come when you change positions entirely. So I think it's important to go into this with a mindset of you always have options. So here's the bottom line. Your income is one of the most powerful tools you have to build the life you want. And it's not just about your dollars today, but it's what those dollars can compound to over time and how they enabled you to save for retirement and build a secure financial future. Because an increase in pay of even a small amount can add up to several hundreds of thousands of dollars of increased earnings over the course of many years. At the end of the day, you trade your life hours for a paycheck, so make sure that it reflects your worth. You deserve a career that sets you up for success today as well as in the future. So what are your thoughts? When's the last time you asked for a raise? Share your thoughts in a comment down below. I post new videos every single week. If you got anything at all out of this one, please give it a like. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, or if you know of someone who might get something out of this type of content, please consider sharing. I'll see you soon. Bye. Hey guys, fresh memory card. I think I was running out of space, so I think we're all set for the next handful of videos for the next like 3 weeks. One memory card, 3 weeks of footage. Let's do this. I don't even know what I want to say. We're just gonna have a long pause while I just think. I wanted to go somewhere else, and I don't know where that was. I don't usually film on Fridays. Filming days, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Today, bonus filming day on Friday, which is kind of sad for me because usually I'm just in sweats on the couch watching The Housewives. The pause. The pause was not helpful. Side hustle. That's what they're calling it in 2025. That's what cool kids say. Oh my goodness, I don't even know what I'm saying. I think that plane needs to. I thought planes move fast, not this one. Peanut butter cup. Peanut, you really have to stop, okay? There was something else I wanted to say, and I don't know what it was. That can't be right. Why did I write that? Stats wanted 40-hour work weeks? Why are people working more than 40 hours is my question. That's not what I wrote. I don't know why that's there, but that's definitely not what I wrote. Wanted 4-day work weeks. That makes more sense in that context. I'm like, I didn't write that stat. I don't know where I was going. Even as I was talking, I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. There is no bottom line.